So this is the new part of the Tap Gallery.
Yes, we've been upstairs for about 15 years, and now just for the last 6 months we've moved and expanded. So we've got 900 square metres of great space now. Very exciting.
Wow.
This is one of our most popular spaces where artists like to exhibit. This entrance is at 45 Burton Street. We have 2 entrances, but it's a lovely light gallery, as you can see. And we actually have space so any artists who want to have an exhibition can come and see us about this space. We've got more space around this way. Have a little cafe here, and around here we're expanded and we've got lots more exhibition space. Here we put on our poetry events. Here's like a little stage area, poetry and songwriting event that we run every Thursday night. And down this side we've got a lovely little gallery that has another window display, and I'll show you this area. This is our other entrance at 278 Palmer Street. And this is a fabulous stained glass window by Jeff Hamilton. We've just installed this. We're going to see how we get reaction from the street at night. It's a wonderful little panel, I love that. Anyway, this is a cute little exhibition space.
These are wonderful paintings. Who are these by?
These are mine here, these
wow.
3. That was in, I had an exhibition in an Italian restaurant and the whole theme was Italian Renaissance. It was a lot of fun. And that was just a phase I went through. So we had a film night the other night upstairs, and we also have a theatre for young fresh plays. We have one studio space here that 2 girl painters work in. Actually, there's another writer, a boy who writes here. We do have one more studio space that's available, actually. Oh.
Do you have Pussycat there?
I have.
Then we'll go,
Some big dogs walked in. Rochester. Yes.
Before your opening, there's an ESNA meeting, and Council's going to be doing a presentation about the tabernacle.
Oh, great.
What time does your opening start? Sorry, I see you.
6 o'clock we've got an opening here.
Oh, it is. Lesley, the council to give Lesley space in the tabernacle across the street. Aren't we, darling?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
So you're a neighbour of Leslie's and you've
I
just
try to live right
in.
around the corner. I just am walking in. I often drop in, don't I, Lesley? The best gallery in town, and we're big supporters of Leslie's.
And I hear you've got publications of your own.
That's right. I publish some local newspapers, the City Hub and the City News, which the City News gets letterboxed around this neighborhood. City Hub goes out to, throughout the inner city, and then we do the Bondi View over in the beaches, and yeah.
So Darlinghurst is a hub of creative activity.
It sure is. We have 2 art schools. We have a fabulous gallery.
Many
we
galleries.
have one fabulous gallery, the Tap. Isn't that right?
That's right.
That's right. And in fact, across the street from Lesley here, there's a space called the Tabernacle, which is going to be converted into some sort of an art space. So we've been busy trying to get council to make sure that Lesley's part of their plans for that space.
Because she does work very hard, doesn't she?
Very hard. It's been 18 years now, Lesley? 18 years. We just had our 18th anniversary last month. Is that right?
Right, yes.
So, yes, it's very impressive. So I'll leave you to I just want to make sure that she was aware of this community meeting, because we want to get the Tap Gallery in that tabernacle space, don't we? That's our cause. Okay, right. Darling, give me a kiss. Bye.
So Lesley, I consider you quite a patron of the arts. You promote artists and filmmakers.
Yes, we're involved in all the arts, and we also have a theatre. Mostly we have fresh new plays from Sydney playwrights, and the whole idea of Tap Gallery, because we are a non-profit organisation that supports emerging artists in all forms.
So Lesley, the Tap Gallery's turned 18.
That's true. We started when I was a student at the National Arts School in 1989. I ran another space just across the other side of Taylor Square for 4 years before we were driven out by a developer, and then we moved here in 1993. So now in 2007 we've just celebrated our 18th birthday. We had a fabulous big exhibition, and this photograph collage of photographs put together by Jim Anderson are photos that he took here at Tap Gallery at many events that were on. Interestingly enough, Jim Anderson's got a show opening next week here at Tap Gallery, opened by Richard Neville. He was part of the Oz team that were jailed in London a long time ago, and Martin Sharp was involved with that lot too. So we're expecting a very big crowd here, and it's going to be wonderful photographs. But these photographs are fabulous because there's a lot of memories here. Bill Morley was a very famous gay DJ. He passed away, sadly, just recently, and we had a memorial here for him. He exhibited here often. He was a fabulous and very creative artist. Here is Madame Lash. We have an exhibition rejecting the rejected Archibald works, and there's a fabulous portrait behind Madame Lash there of her. It was a wonderful work, and it won a prize here at Tap Gallery, even though it wasn't hung at the Art Gallery of New South Wales. We do that every year. We've been doing that for about 11 years. This is Christine Burke, who's a regular and a wonderful painter here. Jim put this he said it's his tap in his backyard, representing Tap's 18th birthday show. Some wonderful, wonderful people here. These are neighbours here. This person had a sex change from man to a woman, and this person had a sex change from a woman to a man, and their partners. They live across the road and they come here on occasions. This is the very, very well-known William Yang, who attends events here. This is the fabulous Carmen, the famous drag queen, who's just turned 70. Some fabulous different people. My friend Sandra with her dog, Norrie Mae Welby, Peter Skiro and Sam and Jeff Hambleton. They are all fabulous artists that frequent here. David, the wonderful poet, because we have poetry readings here too. And we show film. And the other night we had a fabulous film called The Thin Green Line, which was raising money for rangers all over the world. A lot of rangers get killed on the job, and it's a very important task that they achieve doing conservation and wildlife. And the exhibition that we have up here is on the same theme, conservation and wildlife.
There's some wonderful art on the walls here.
Yes, there is some fabulous stuff.
So if anyone wanted to have an exhibition here, what would they do?
We accept all artists, so they just need to come and see me and decide how much space they need and when they'd like to have the show. We welcome all artists. That's the whole philosophy of TAP.
You've been promoting artists for 18 years. Roughly off the top of your head, how many people would have exhibited at TAP?
Well, at a small estimate, at least 800 people a year come through here, not only in solo shows, but we have some big group shows and some art prizes as well, which are very popular. The Real Refusee, which is the rejects from the Archibald, we generally get about 150 artists through. So that's a really big show, but there are a few others, the Amnesty International Art Prize every January, and then the Images of the Cross Art Prize in October.
It is very confronting as an artist to put your art on the wall, and it's like bearing your soul in a way.
Mm.
But if you exhibit in a group situation, it's not so intimidating. What do you think?
Yeah, it's true, and also some artists don't have a big body of work. You know, they might just have a few they'd like to put on display. So it's an opportunity then, and not only that, it's cheaper to put your one or two works up and than having a big solo show.
Do you get any outside funding?
We get a little bit of support from the City of Sydney. They've supported our film nights and provided us with a little grant. It's called a community grant. And we're hoping that we'll get another one very soon. We'll get the news for that.
Tell us more about your film nights. Can anyone come?
Oh yes, it's open to the public, and it is it's called Court Short. It's the first Thursday of the month, but we also have other film nights and people can come and hire the space and put on their own films. We've got a fabulous new projector. We're very excited that the City of Sydney funded last year. We're very grateful for that. And so we're open to other filmmakers coming in and using our space.
Okay. And your poetry nights, that's fun.
Oh yes, we've just started, the other night was our first of hope many. Every Thursday night we're running a poetry night with songwriters and comedians as well, and we have a slam where somebody on the night, by audience vote, wins to go in the final, and we'll have a big prize at the end of the year.
Lesley, how do you have time to organise all this stuff?
Well, we're driven really by rent, which is a terrible thing, but we pay very high commercial rent, and we try to keep the place busy and occupied in any way we can, but it's also because I don't think you can separate the arts. It would be a very dull place if we just put pictures up on the wall. Most artists either play an instrument or have other interests as well, act as well, or, and you can't really separate any of those and put them just as an art gallery.
And so you're a very fine artist in your own right.
I've been painting since I was 4, really, and my aim always was to be a professional artist. And I went to art school twice. I was a perpetual student, and I went back again when I was 36, not knowing how to break into becoming a professional artist. And this is probably why I ended up starting up this gallery, because I was going to art school with a lot of frustrated mature students who couldn't see their way into a dealer gallery. And you have to exhibit and get a track record before you can get into a dealer gallery. So we're here for that.
Okay, and you've got some of your lovely paintings I saw when we went on the little tour.
Yes.
Could you show me those again, please?
No problem. This one's called Madonna and Child, obviously, influenced by Italian Renaissance painting. It was painted specifically for an Italian restaurant that a friend and myself had a show in. It was my birthday exhibition. We had a big party in this restaurant. It was very memorable, but they looked fabulous in the restaurant. They were very apt. It was all, I painted, there would have been about 20 that I painted and put in these old frames that I found in an op shop. And the whole theme was Italian Renaissance, and here they are. This one, of course, is Madonna. Yes, she looks a little sad, doesn't she? But I've got a couple more too like this around. You probably can see reference to other well-known Italian paintings. Obviously the baby's reaching for her breast. The whole theme essentially is the breast there, and the adoration of the mother on the child.
So Lesley, these days there's so many people who want to be in a rock band. Now can you tell us
What happened to me?
Yeah.
Well, it was a long time ago now, but in the 80s I did sing in a couple of bands. My ex-husband, the father of my children, he was a musician, fabulous musician actually. When we split up, he bought this little Tascam 4-track. There was the Rhythmics wrote their first album on one of these things, but anyway, he had it at home and he recorded my voice, and we all got a bit excited about it and started writing songs. And practically every night we'd be there drinking scotch and writing songs. And then we started going out and playing. Did quite a few gigs actually, sang at the Mansell Room, if you remember that famous place, and up and down the coast a bit. But eventually I had to decide between singing and art, and I ended up here. But I do burst into song every now and then when I've had a little bit too much. I do love singing. I think it's a very spiritual and releasing thing.
So, Lesley, coming here today, it's made me remember all sorts of events that I've come to at the Tap Gallery, and they've all been fabulous.
Oh, there's been so many wonderful events here. I wish I could have recorded them all. All I've got is folders full of all the paperwork, the invitations and the catalogues and the press clippings of all the events. But really, I couldn't think of anything that stands out. Every day is exciting here.
My name's Jan Wood and I'd like to welcome you to today's Swan Art Show. Today we're here at the Tap Gallery at 278 Palmer Street Darlinghurst, and we're hanging an exhibition called Earth, Woman, Environment. So come and have a look. Here we are in the Tap Gallery where we're in the middle of hanging the exhibition, which opens today and will be open until next Sunday afternoon. Now behind me are some works that recently toured to Russia and England with me at the end of 1997. So we'll come back in a little while and have a closer look at some of these. In the meantime, I'd like to introduce you to some of the artists who are participating in the exhibition.
And this is a painting called Fire and Water. It's inspired by the obvious elements of the sun and the ocean, and it's also inspired by the I Ching, which talks about the different elements like fire, water, heaven and earth. And I was at a beach called Kalala down South Coast, and I did a whole lot of little studies of the beach and the shells and the water and the sunrises, and this was a result of that kind of painting, and it's based on the mystic spiral, which also becomes the eternity symbol, because the spiral in the sky also becomes the spiral in the water, but it's hidden, so you can only just see it. And the human figure, it doesn't have to be a male or a female, but it's the one that's meditating and feeling part of both the sunrise and the ocean. And it's done in layers of thick and thin, and ends up with oil paint.
My name's Irene Gower, and this painting is called Being in the Blue Mountains. This painting comes out of my deep concern at patriarchy's splitting off of matter and spirit. When I go to the Blue Mountains, I feel I'm part of the mountains, I'm one with the mountain. The mountain is my mother, my environment. Without it, I'm nothing. And when I talk about being, I mean the physical act of just being in the mountains is so powerful that I don't feel anything else. I just feel a kind of joy at being there. And I've tried to show that joy by my use of colour.
Hi, my name is Susanna Gordon, and this painting is called The Fish. This is a part of a series of paintings I did in conjunction. I was affected by the bushfire that we had a few years ago, and I started painting animals. I think it was like my contribution to the environment as a legacy, because we have so many species that are disappearing, and people are not aware of that, or they are aware, but they don't really become conscious constantly of that. We say, oh yes, that's happening, and that's it. We just block it, we continue with something else. And I was actually one of those persons as well, doing things like that. So I tried to become more conscious of the situation, and by doing so, I started painting animals. Although normally my paintings have different topics, this time I concentrated on animals.
This is an artwork by an artist called Wendy Rose, and it's called Wild Swan, and it is made from materials that she has found in the bush around her house. This painting's by Irene Coates from Blackheath, and it's called The Three Sisters. The work that you're looking at on this wall recently travelled to Russia and also to England, and it's part of the Earth, Woman, Environment exhibition. This print is from a work by Joy Barrett, and it's called Do You See What I See? Now, Joy's been looking at the world through women's eyes, and this artwork is how women conform to how they think other people see them. This exhibition in June and July will travel to New Zealand. So they're mounted on black paper, so it's much easier for us to video them. This work here is called Silence Speaks, and it's a mixed media by Slavica Zerkovic, who is from down the south coast, down at Berrima. Is a laser print by Catherine McConaughey, and it's called Healing the Mind-Body Split. Down the bottom, we have 3 works by Tracy Ann Boyd, who is an artist from the north coast of New South Wales. And over the coming weeks, I hope to interview Tracy about these works, and she can explain, I'm sure, much better than I can. This print is a lithograph on paper. It's by Gay Hendrickson, who is an artist from the Blue Mountains, and it's called The Tree and I. This print here is by Joy Barrett, and it's called A God That Looks Like Me. This is a laser print by Christine Mogini, and she's an artist from the Southern Highlands of New South Wales. And her print is called Heart Chakra Opening. This one caused quite a lot of comment and interest in Russia. The Russian people are very spiritual people there's very hard living conditions, but they really print. 3 beautiful landscapes by New Zealand artist Marion Towns. They're of the Waiheke Island, which is part of Auckland. In June, the Waiheke women artists, there's a group of 4 who are coming here, and they're going to exhibit at the Tap Gallery, and their exhibition is an Earth Woman Environment one. And the New Zealand women will take the unframed artworks by Australian women back to New Zealand for exhibition over there. The final one in the exhibition so far is a print by United States artist Sandra Stanton, and this one is called Eve. Sandra Stanton is doing a series of prints, a series of paintings actually, and she's documenting all the ancient goddesses from all the different cultures, and they're truly quite stunning. I'll just read you what she's written here. Eve. Eve's title, Mother of All Living, was a translation of Jagan Mata Kali Ma's title in India. Originally, it was believed that she created all beings out of clay. Some believed that she had the help of her serpent. So the bird-headed snake goddess from pre-dynastic Egypt, 4000 BC. Other video, by the way, I'll